Ken eventually gets the 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. slot on W4. That's a big time slot. This was 1970s. This was basically young men 18 to 34 listening. That was when they tuned in the radio. That was rock and roll nighttime in Detroit. Talk about personal taste slipping in. So a few days into his show at 6 o'clock, Ken takes over. First song of the show at 6 o'clock, Detroit, Rock City. These people have been hammering out at Ford Motor Company all day on the line. And Ken starts out with Hot Rod Lincoln by Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airmen.
I love that song. Still do.
It's a combination between 1950 and a novelty song.
Right.
And I pull Ken into my office the next day. Ken, you're doing a good job overall. You really, really are. Ken, I'm looking for a little more of a drive-in Detroit sound to kick off that show, to set the tone. I want to play for you Rolling Down the Highway by Bachman Turner Overdrive. This is a little bit more of the sound I'm looking for. And he adapted.
Yeah, because you did it correctly. You didn't sort of push me in the direction. You steered me in the direction. You didn't grab the wheel. So many PDs, and we could do a whole. I mean, there's your next series. Just talk to program directors and ask them about their management styles. But your management style was one of the very. I was terrified when you left, and I was crushed when you left because of both how much I enjoyed our time together and how you sort of really directed us in such cool and positive directions without us even knowing it. And that was cool. Then others came in who were not so cool, and I was totally, I did not play as nice. But don't forget as well that part of that job, Ron, as well, was to work in concert with the sales department. And that's where the WKRP portion of it came in, because Buzzy would, I remember you guys were all on the first floor looking out the window, 2930 East Jefferson, and there were like 2 desks or 3 across.
There was 2, and McNally was in one. I was in another one. Gary Lewis and the blonde lady, I'm trying to remember her name, that McNally would
occasionally have to do late nights with.
Yes.
Yeah. And who was? I'll never forget Bart Walsh. When Bart Walsh hired me, by the way, for 6 to 10 at night, called me in and he tried to make me feel like this was killing him. He didn't want to do this. Sit down. You like it here? Oh, I'm in heaven. I've never been. This is the happiest place I've ever been. Good. All right, here's what we're going to do. I got stuff to do. I'm going to pay you, I wrote it down here somewhere. All right, I'm going to pay you $750 a month, 6 days a week. I want you doing 6 to 10. Don wrote it down for me. I want you doing 6 to 10 at night, and then I want you doing 10 to 2 on Saturdays. And McNally did 6 to 10 in the morning.
Right.
And a sales guy did a morning show. And Roger Middleton was another one that had a part. I love that. And these guys went on to be big stars in radio.
But only Pat McNally used classic phrases like the clock on the wall says it's 8:12.
Yes. I remember. That's funny, see, because this is what we do. I remember when Paul Sullivan was our PD, and I used to say, or I did say, the temperature stands at 77 degrees right now in the Rockin' Motor City. And he came blasting through the door. And he's like, the temperature stands? Does the temperature walk? And it was like, I remember he walked over to there was an ashtray, and he tipped it over, and I was like, all right, push it back a little bit, bro. Push it back a little bit.
Oh, boy.
But I remember that the temperature stands. Does the temperature walk?
Funny.
Little nuggets that I'll never, ever forget.